Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Silent Punt Podcast with your host, Travis and Henny. Travis, you made it back from Buffalo.
I did. I made it back with a sinus infection. Might have overindulged Sunday night, so I think that's what my problem was.
You were overserved.
I was, yeah.
I hate that term. So dumb. All right, you got a sticker this week?
Sticker. Oh, sticker goes to my doctor because I came back with a really nasty sinus infection, and I texted him, and he said, "Hey, I'm in Italy, but I'll take care of it." So my guy wrote in my script for my sinus infection I get every year, and got it to my pharmacy, and did it all from Italy. What a guy! What a doc! There are still good people in medicine, Henny.
Your doc from like Little House on the Prairie, he doesn't have a backup doc?
This is like a whole other pod, but my doctor was a scientist at NASA. He got bored with that, and then he was a rocket scientist, got bored with that, and then went back to medical school, and now he's a doctor.
There are so many people like that that are just so smart and so like they do so much. It makes you, if you really thought about it, feel bad about yourself.
He has a photographic memory.
Oh,
So,
well, so he hit the genetic lottery.
yeah, I don't know if many people would trade places with him. He's a bit. It's not easy being my doctor, but anyway,
As he sits in Italy.
yeah, he's doing okay. He's a doctor, so helps a lot of people. Good guy. All right, you got a gasser?
We're going to go all touchy-feely this week and do two stickers.
Oh, okay.
And this sticker, self-serving, goes to us in the Silent Punt Podcast. Did you see who got fired just here today? We're filming this, folks, on Monday.
Oh, I know the Penn State coach got fired.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I know the Panthers coach got fired. No, the Titans coach got fired.
There you go. Do you know who called that first back in August?
Wow, he was first guy fired. You could have bet on that, Henny. That's a big bet. First guy fired.
I don't know, but we put it on our preseason podcast.
You could have made some money if you're paying attention, everybody.
All right. Okay, topic number one, shitty jobs.
What's the worst job I ever had?
Well, not you per se, because I
Oh,
think we might have even talked about that, but in general, and I will say not shitty jobs in like, oh man, I'm going to draw a blank on his name now. Mike Rowe, maybe.
yeah,
Uh,
micro. Dirty
uh,
jobs.
Not those kind of jobs,
Oh, okay.
like
Just like
because
tough jobs.
what's that?
Just like difficult jobs you wouldn't want to have.
Yeah, like I think, you hear this like if you're going to be a garbage man, be the best garbage man you can. Being a garbage man isn't inherently a terrible job. It might be hard, it might smell, whatnot, but
Make a lot of money.
what's that?
Make a lot of money. My brother works for a garbage company, or my brother-in-law works for a garbage company.
Well, I mean, it's like death and taxes, right? Everybody's going to always have garbage.
Yeah, those guys make way more than you think. They make more than my therapists.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Well, what comes to mind when I say shitty job?
I think it's just where you get dunked on all the time, like customer service or like especially a service industry where whatever you're selling, good or service, is of a low dollar amount, then people think they can just automatically treat you like garbage because what they're buying is cheap. I know it's a weird thing to think of, but like my kid worked at McDonald's all through high school, and the stories she would come back with were like crazy.
Uh, I wasn't going to go there with this, but that's one of my favorite Robbins family stories ever is when Macy got called to work at the up front at the register.
Yeah,
Do you want to tell that or should I tell that?
you should tell that. Let's see if you remember it.
Well, I remember it. At least I know I remember it in my brain. So, not really a people person. And so at McDonald's, she was doing things other than the cash register. And something happened and she had to work the register. And there's this lady that's complaining about her coffee. And if I remember correctly, the coffee machines at McDonald's are terrible and you have to clean them, probably like the ice cream machines. And anyway, this lady's complaining that there's grounds in her coffee and they go back and forth. And the lady finally escalates and she's like, "That's it. I'm never coming back here." And Macy's like, "I don't care." Is that about right?
Yes, that's about right. So yeah,
Yeah.
everybody should work. Although I'm very happy she worked that job because everybody should work a terrible job. Then you'll, better appreciate the real job you end up getting eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, more respect for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I would say maybe, well, this is kind of what you were saying in terms of a customer service person over the phone, an insurance agent or adjuster that has to just work for a really low rent insurance place and deny people that are really in trouble.
Yeah. I would say. Yeah, we talk to those people all the time in our line of work. So yeah, that sucks. DMV. I mean, no one's happy when they go to DMV. I don't know what they call it in Wisconsin, but the Department of Motor Vehicles is just like everybody's going there and they're just not happy with the reason that they're there, and you have to kind of direct traffic. So
The last few times, as you're dunking on Wisconsin, that I've been to the DMV in Wisconsin, it's been a wonderful experience.
there you go, Midwestern. It's always better.
People smile, they're nice. You can now make appointments. You don't just have to show up and sit there for hours, just in and out.
Wow. TSA in Philadelphia.
Oh,
If you ever have the pleasure of
terrible.
going through airport
Oh,
security in Philadelphia, which you might not know if you've never done it, I just want to give those people a hug. Like there's no angrier group of people than the security line at the Philadelphia airport.
I'm gonna take the opposite tack on that and say the TSA and pretty much everybody employed at the Philadelphia International Airport are horrible human beings that don't smile and are rude to you.
It's like Eagles fans.
All right, on that note, we're actually going to talk about that in a few minutes. But topic number two, the Portland videos
Oh
and
man.
ice and all that.
Yeah, I just skipped in my TikTok feed the overlay of whoever is what she's the who's ever's in charge of this project. She's a attractive brunette woman, and she says that
Oh,
Antifa is just as dangerous as Hezbollah and all these other terrorist organizations. While there's like these people in Portland that apparently are dressed in these blow up like outfits and just dancing
yeah.
around. Yeah.
Uh, I just saw a friend of mine posted something whose wife has been furloughed about the whole Antifa thing. And he's like, um, because somebody had said they're paid actors being protesters and they're Antifa, and he was like at a protest, and he's like, well, if they're paid, my wife is on furlough right now from the government, so I would like some of those funds. That would be appreciated. Um, but yeah, so I saw a lot of those videos of like the blow up people and Portland people being nice, but also I will say uh, that has happened in some other cities, and you can go to any major city in America and find just the most squalor and gross and crime and whatever. And you can also maybe be 2 or 3 blocks away and be in just the most wonderful community around. That's part of being a huge city. So I don't think that just because you put out a bunch of nice videos of, this diverse population being nice to each other, um, I don't know. I don't have friends in Portland, but I know people in Seattle. I've been to Seattle. Um, that place is not what it used to be in terms of safety and niceness and whatnot. So as with everything, we here at Silent Punt talk about trying to be a little bit more in the middle. Um, that was my take on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's no fun if we agree. You're supposed to bitch at me, but
All
all
right,
right.
next topic. I'm sure I'll find something to disagree with you about.
Okay. Well, then topic three, I think we're going to probably agree on. And you brought this up a few weeks ago. It is work-life balance.
There's this CEO of Red Lobster. I don't know if you know. Have you heard anything about this
Oh,
CEO?
yes. Well, if he's still, it's the young guy.
Yeah, young guy. So I think he's come out recently about a lot of this stuff, and he came out and said, I don't really see, I don't think there is a balance. He just kind of like work is such a huge part of your life. And he also said, if you don't feel that way, like I totally understand you, and I don't think you're wrong or dumb. It's just kind of how like I do it. Like I'm the CEO of this huge company, and I'm responsible for thousands of employees. Like it's like a big deal, and I signed up for it, and they're paying me a lot of money to do it. But it's the idea of that is I guess depending on what you do. Like, I have a good friend of mine that as soon as we graduated from high school in 1996, he started working at Walmart distribution center, and he worked there for 25 years until he went to a Tractor Supply distribution center. Just kind of lateral move, just because he was sick of working at Walmart, and like he hates work. Like he like puts his time in, just like a jail sentence, and goes home. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum where I feel like what I do is a huge part of like my identity and kind of why I went to school and all of that stuff. And I like to think that I help a lot of people doing it, but to compare those two situations, I think doesn't make sense. And I don't. I talk to people about this all the time. I don't know who's got it figured out. Like I make a lot more money than him. You know, I live in a much nicer house than him, but I spend a lot of my mental space thinking about work when I probably should be thinking about other things. He absolutely shuts it off like a light switch when he leaves there, and he's fully present for his kids and his family. So yeah, I don't. It's an interesting discussion. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Um, well, I agree in terms of the job, but I also think it's like the person because I think about teaching. I grew up in a family of teachers and I was a teacher and a coach. And there are absolutely, you think about the people that taught you in high school or elementary school or whatever, and there are totally those teachers that the school bell rang at 2:30 at 3, they were gone and they didn't think about it until 8 in the morning. And then there are the teachers like my mom that was up till midnight every night grading fourth grade papers by hand. Um, I don't think it's the job necessarily in that regard. I think it's the person. And you take it to the highest level, I think that happens with people in what do they call it? The C-suite in you know big companies. There are people that are just punching a clock and taking a check. And there are people that really truly care about the people that they're working with and what they're doing. And we said it earlier, I said it earlier, whether you're a garbage man or whatever, you either care about what you're doing and you're going to do a great job or you're not. I don't know that it necessarily depends on what the job is.
Yeah. I mean, there's more meaning in jobs than others, but I think you should do a good job, whatever you're doing. I like that. I tell my kids, like, I don't care if you're, custodian, garbage, like whatever you want to do, as long as you're really good at it, and then you find that kind of work meaningful. Because it's hard to be happy if you don't have some kind of balance of like meaningful work, like you're making some kind of contribution and some kind of balance, I guess. I mean, you can't work all the time. So I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. I don't know. Work-life balance.
We'll do that before we die, figure it out. Um, Work-life balance. You just said something that I was going to bring up. What were you just talking about? Oh, kids. Yeah, we've had this discussion in our house with our daughter, and she doesn't get it yet. And I had this discussion every year for months on end with young men that were seniors in high school that we were recruiting to play college football. And you ask them what they want to do. I don't know. I just want to make a lot of money.
Yes, that's a very common statement with most kids that age. Yep.
Um, and it's just the wrong advice. And I can't imagine that that's the advice you and your wife are giving your kids because you can just as easily be an unhappy billionaire. We see those people in the news all the time, as you can be a happy garbage man, to go back to what we keep saying.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you said like lower your expectations for things that you do. You could be very happy at a household income of $70,000. It's just there's certain things that you're not going to be able to do, but I think that can not necessarily be a disadvantage. Of course, it's hard to sell that to somebody that is like that. So I this friend that works at Walmart distribution center, I have these conversations with him. I was like, why do you think I got it figured out? Like, how do you know that everything's great for me? I sometimes I'm like, man, depending on the day, I would like to just kind of shut it off and go home and go to my kid's baseball game, and that's all I got to worry about until I got to get up the next day. So, but
Before we go to number four, I will say that's one thing that I still do, having not coached now for a few years. It'll be All right, today's Monday. It's whatever o'clock. I will stop and think, okay, what was I doing at this time when I was coaching? Because 7 days a week, every day was exactly the same. You knew at, 1:15, I was doing this. At 6:50 in the morning, I was doing this. And it very much makes me happy when I think about it now, and I'm not doing that. Topic four. This is was going to be about football fans, but we have to talk about Penn State and James Franklin.
Yeah.
So it could be a combination of both. You're in PA now.
Yeah, unless you've lived in Pennsylvania, you have no idea how big Penn State, just the institution is. Like if you went into my clinic and there were 13 people there, seven of them went to Penn State. Now Penn State has several campuses in Pennsylvania as well, so you get to include yourself in that. But it's a outsized influence that it has over people in Pennsylvania, and they really love football. But such a crazy turn of events. I mean, inside of like 15 days, this guy was what they were ranked number three, and they, were in a game to be like probably ranked number one. And then this period of time, now he's got shit canned. I mean, don't feel too bad for him. He's gonna get paid out. But yeah, and apparently he's going through a divorce, and like there's all sorts of other stories.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
It's a Pennsylvania. You got to be in Pennsylvania to get all the dirt. But by the way, the divorce rate for high level Division One sports is like 100%. So like if you're gonna sign yourself up for that, then that's crazy. But
Well, you have to find someone that never wants to see you.
yeah, which depending on the day, I mean,
Bill Belichick is living that dream right now.
so yeah, it's just an odd situation. Only, I mean, Henny, you know better than me. I mean, in the coaching profession, you're always kind of just looking for the next best job. Like you're always kind of open for that until, I mean, I'm pretty sure Franklin would be happy if he coached there for the next 30 years. It's just, there's not many of those kinds of jobs that are around, but for the most, that's like a tiny percentage of people. You're just used to getting hired and fired and moving and, going with, another school. So I just don't understand. That's a crazy way to run a life and raise kids and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, big news here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we had that discussion in our house maybe 2, 3 weeks ago. Ava was asking me about stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't ever want a part of that. One of the reasons I coached where I coached is I was hopefully going to stay someplace for a long time, and then my ass got fired too, which is pretty funny. Somebody posted something today about Franklin, and don't, like you said, don't feel so far sorry for him. He's getting X amount of whatever. Well, he wasn't referring to that. He was referring to football coaches in general. And I'm like, well, I got 1 month's salary when they let me go, so maybe feel sorry for me, okay? But to his couple things, to his divorce, first of all, I don't wish that on anybody, but I will say he is the guy that around the time that he was the head coach at Vanderbilt said, I only hire assistant coaches with hot wives
He said that?
because then I know they can recruit. Yeah. So part of me is like, yeah, good on her for leaving.
Yeah. I mean, he's never been a huge favorite out here. They've been wanting to fire him because he can never win the big game. So
Uh, well, I mean, it's like that until you do win the big game. Somebody said that today. Ryan Day was the same way at Ohio State, and then he turned the corner. Um, the other thing I'll say about him is uh, a year and a half or so ago, they got rid of an offensive coordinator and hired another one from Kansas, who the guys that are at Kansas now, a lot of them, the head coach and who's now the offensive coordinator, are Wisconsin guys. And if James Frank, there's one of two reasons he hired his offensive coordinator, and that's why he's fired right now, is because they weren't good enough on offense. Uh, he either hired that guy not knowing that that guy was not the actual offensive coordinator at Kansas, it was the head coach and this other guy, which is a problem, or he hired that guy because somebody at Penn State said, you have to hire this guy. Either way, that's a problem as well. And when those things start happening to you as a head coach, your time is limited.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, you brought up, we'll wrap it up with Philly fans and football fans in general. I was at a college football game this weekend, and it was kind of close at the beginning, and it was a team that really should have won by a decent amount, and a team that shouldn't have. And then as the first quarter draws on, and then it's in the second, it starts to, that gap starts to build. And I'm in the home stands. The home is the underdog team. And that's when you start hearing the cat calls from the people at this Division III game about the referees and the coaches it's like, oh yeah, I forgot how dumb you all are as it relates to this. But Philly fans, you're not a Philly guy, but you live outside of Philly. What is your opinion?
My opinion of Philly fans?
And or football fans in general?
Yeah, typically they don't know all the information, so which is kind of hard to make any kind of reasonable
Bro,
judgment.
hit like quiet on whoever's calling you.
Yeah, I can't. It's the computer, so I apologize for everybody. But yeah, you're not playing with all the information. Like even like people like Henny and I that watch a football game, we don't have all the information. We don't know what happened in the meetings this week. We don't know who's
Hurt or not.
girlfriend like
Yeah.
just broke up with him, who's hurt, all this other stuff. You're like, oh man, if I was in that position, I could have led this team to victory, and that's just not the case. You never have all the information, so.
The last thing I'll say on Penn State is, they had their hopes up on Drew Aller for the last few years, and there's a reason why a kid from Ohio like Drew Aller, Ohio State did not want. You never knew what it was, but I always had that in the back of my mind. Like, I mean, Ohio State knows what they're doing with quarterbacks under Ryan Day.
Yeah. That's but like even any kind of trades or free agency, it's like, huh, why did that team let that guy go so easily? It's like, well, they've had him in the building for the last 2 years, so they know more about him than you know. So good luck.
Yeah. Um, all right, $100 bet. We did like nicely last week.
I did. I won some money last week.
Yeah, me too. So we went 2-0 in our parlay, which meant we went 4-0 in games. That brings us to a whopping -5 for the season dollars.
Some gamblers would love to be at that position this time of year. So with the
Well, I
super,
was going to say we're 4-3 in our parlays, 10-4 overall in games, and that is, if you're trying to bet anything and win money like consistently and expecting to do it, you're probably misconstrued.
yeah,
Um, we're trying to have some fun and win some games. And that's how hard it is to actually win money. Like, I don't know what 10-4 is, but I'm picking more wins than losses, and I'm at -5. That's
yeah.
how hard it is to actually win money.
All right, now that you've set yourself up, let's get to the picks this week.
No, dude, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. The new thing is the picks go in the email.
That's what we call a tease, everybody. That's you got to.
That's what we call a tease, so we can get some more subscribers.
All right, so you got to subscribe to the email and you get Henny's winning picks. He's on a hot streak, so anybody interested in winning some money, let's get on the email.
And I will say, I said at the very beginning, particularly with as college football is going now, it should get not easier as the season progresses, but you have more information, you know more about the teams. It's very hard at the beginning of the season with the transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff. On the flip side, Vegas has more information as well, and so those lines are going to be probably a little bit more appropriate.
Wonder how much AI those guys are using. That must be crazy.
Probably a lot. That I used Chat GPT and I think last week for some of my pick information. If I did this and this, what does it, equate to? Because I'm doing a parlay every week.
All right.
So, anything else for the good of the cause?
Now, what are we gonna talk about next week? Any teasers for that? This is
Uh, Not next week, but we do. Last week you weren't here, and we had our first interview. We've got our next interview set up for probably 2-3 weeks ish. It's the director of analytics for an NBA basketball franchise.
Am I allowed on that one or no? You're not gonna let me on that one. No. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay. All right, I'll listen like everybody else.
So that's the tease. We got double teases.
Wow.
Taking a knee on that.
All right, I'm gonna hit the showers.
All right, brother.
All right, brother.